Welcome, everybody, to Sunday Sermon. I am your host, Justin Banks, along with No Risk, No Premium, Christopher.
What's going on?
We are not financial advisors. No one on this call is. Nothing shall be taken as financial advice, purely opinion and entertainment only.
Yes, sir. What is up, guys? Glad to be back. Glad to be back in action. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well. Made sure that we've spent a ton of money on microphones, on headphones, on all that kind of shit, so we can better serve y'all. Plus, it was just needed to happen. Those goddamn AirPods just weren't cutting it no more.
No, dude.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about this week coming up. We see that obviously everyone's talking about Monday. The 21st, they're saying, Powell's talking. The NABE guys. I didn't know what that stood for until about 10 minutes ago, and Justin and I were talking before, and it's the National Association of Bilingual Education. Unless I'm searching the wrong thing, pretty sure that, but it says it's April.
Yeah,
so let's, I don't know. That's what I have. Maybe search NABE and then put PAL.
National Association for Business Economics.
Oh, okay.
So that makes more sense.
That makes way more sense. Okay. Yeah, when you initially, okay, here we go. Cool. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Business economics. Yeah, Dylan's like, yeah, you fucking idiots. Shut up, Dylan. You haven't been here enough for you to talk shit yet. Go make another 250,000, then you talk shit, okay? All right. Oh, Dylan, I did get your message, bro. For as far as the yeah, we got it taken care of. I'll get you that stuff probably later this evening, okay? Sorry, got a million fucking things going. But nonetheless, look at that man right there. That man actually runs our country. Good old Jerome Powell. So he talks tomorrow at 12. Usually what happens on Powell is either a total range day all day long, or we do have like a pretty decent move out of the open, whether up or down, and then a base until him, and then a move after. So, tomorrow, it's definitely easy to say. Let's definitely see where we open. I think that's the most important part, right? Like let's go to SPY, Justin, just real quick.
Let's do it.
And we'll get on the higher time frame. So hit the weekly and hit the daily and make our way down. But okay, I mean,
do you want the indicators on right now or no?
Yeah, throw the indicator. What are the indicators?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I just
keep those on. Okay, cool. Yeah, so those are I mean, you guys see it right there, right? I mean, massive boner candle. Boy, look at the TTM squeeze, which is at the bottom, is the BBKC squeeze that's on TrendSpider. Basically, it's a combination of Bollinger Bands and counter channels. Just shows areas of consolidation. But you can see when those dots are red, that is consolidation. Think about that as like a springboard, right? The price is consolidating. The moment it clicks green, there's typically a move, and then the histogram of the colors shows the momentum. So the momentum was the downside, but you could see how that histogram now has a shorter length on it. So it could be swinging back towards that middle signal line, which is just a zero line. So let's see.
I just wanted to, so that is right here. It shows the BBKC squeeze on TrendSpider, but this is going to be the TTM squeeze on most charting websites.
Yep. Yeah. Most brokerages.
So TTM squeeze. I'll put it in the chat.
Especially TOS is TTM squeeze. Yep.
So what we're talking about right here, for those who just joined, we're talking about this BBKC squeeze.
Yeah.
Indicator right here. Sorry,
So
I was trying to be thorough.
No, you're right. I forgot we should just slow it down. So you see, obviously, we have been consolidating for several weeks. So the higher the time frame, the longer the consolidation, the bigger and longer the move. You can use the TTM squeeze on shorter time frames, but just know those moves are going to be shorter, of consolidation, and then the actual move that comes after. Just something good to note there. But you can see that we reclaimed, like Justin, if you zoom in just a tad or just make the price, yeah. we reclaimed I think that's the 8 EMA is the white, and then
Correct,
the
I used
50 MA. Yeah, the 50 MA. We reclaimed both of those, which is pretty big, right? Can you do the 200 MA?
absolutely.
Not the smooth, just the regular 200. Yeah, that one on the weekly. Perfect. Because we'll want it when we get to the daily. All right, cool. So I don't think we get down there, but nonetheless, we'll need it for the daily. So look, we captured those 2 points that were, pretty crucial points. So this week will be very determining whether we actually break through and hold, and then do we test that 20 MA right on this weekly chart. So what is that, Justin? All the way up there. I think it says it.
Yeah,
453.
453.09, 453.09.
453.09. So just know if we do push higher, I think definitely the top of the range could definitely get up higher, right? So let's see what happens. Let's do now the daily, right? So this is how we do it, guys. You want to zoom out, you want to understand the bigger picture of the chart. Okay.
And then even the monthly sometimes. I mean, if you take a look on the monthly on the 20 SMA, it you can see how it has a nice bounce here. So
do a like right at the bottom of the body on those 2 last wicks. Yeah. So we see, guys, that 435, 436, that's a pretty big level. If those bodies on the monthly both opened and closed above that point, right?
absolutely.
So
And I just want to add to the monthly right here. I think, if we are going to head lower, looking at the price action history, we're going to have to wait until the 20 SMA gets broken, as you can see, to head to that lower 50-day. So that's
Yep.
just something that it's a major on the monthly is something that we're looking at, which right now is around 409. So that's really the move we're looking at to head
yeah.
lower.
I would think, though, I mean, these are bullish candles to me. When you have super long wicks to the bottom, that shows that buyers dominated the sellers, right? Bulls outweighed the bears, whatever you want to call it. You show that, like, this last candle in this monthly was definitely a strength candle, in my opinion. But however, we still have lower lows, but we have an inside candle, guys. An inside candle is where the high and low of the candle are inside of the previous candle's high and low. So does that make sense? We have an inside, so it also shows consolidation on a higher time frame. Okay.
I do want to, one thing I'm thinking about on this is, during February, because obviously this is a monthly. So when you guys look at time frames, if you're on the 10, 30, 1 hour monthly, each candlestick is going to represent that time frame, if that makes sense. So each of these candlesticks are 1 month long.
Yeah.
One thing I was looking at, though, is, in February, the Fed was still buying stuff up. And then even into March, they're still buying stuff up. So is this buying really, retail or hedge funds buying this up? Or was that just the Fed buying stuff up, the last of it, you know what I mean? Before, because April is going to be the real tell of, I think the market reaction.
Definitely.
Just something to think about.
Definitely possible we get an outside month after an inside month, right? Something to think about. But the month's not over yet. You know what I mean? Like, what's today? The 20th. So we still have, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 trading days in left.
Yeah.
Is that right? 5. Yeah, we have 9 trading days left this month. So just something to think about, right? Let's see where we actually close. I would look at the opening. Yeah. So I really like that opening price on the previous. So that's the opening of that February. And you have it at what, 450.21. So
wasn't that close?
That was really close to what, 453-ish area.
Yeah. So
but if you go to the daily, I think the daily is going to be the biggest tell for us.
Cool. Let's do it.
As far as
sorry, I have a lot of lines.
So we see we went up and pretty much kissed that 200-day, right? Which was, I believe we had it at 445.95. Is that 92? Simple moving average 200. Yeah, right there. 449.92. I see it over there on the left. Sorry for his coloring chart here, guys. Obviously, Justin's very, very particular about his levels, but But yeah, I mean, we see that this is a huge I would call it resistance, right?
Absolutely.
Because you look at that bunch of candles over there, probably 20 trading days ago over to the left. A lot of these candles could not get through the two, like after they lost the 200-day, yep. So
So
yeah,
here's
everything,
that.
all those candles over there, this is where I'd be paying attention to for sure. Because basically if we break this 200-day, like if we break 446, to me it would make sense we definitely go to test 450, 453 after that. Because why, right? Let's zoom out again to the weekly. Where was the, right, those MAs? You guys have to remember, those MAs, they're like magnets, right? They're the actual average. So the moving average, everything always comes back to their average, right? Like
Absolutely.
anything you do with numbers comes back to the average. And the farther they stray away, they're definitely going to come back. So you see how far underneath we got from the 50-day on this chart here. On the weekly, we got away from the 50-day and we came right back to it. Okay. Now, and we got away from it the first time. We got away from the 20-day. We came right back to the 20-day. So do we go up to that 20-day? It's possible, right? 453, but we have 450. I would say 450 most definitely would be the next level to the upside for me. So let's go back to the daily for a sec. So now, guys, now you want to do this, right? Look at these 4 boner candles, just straight up. Okay. The last time that we had, which actually happened to be the last quad witching. Actually, it wasn't quad witching. I think it was just triple witching. But it was OPEX week going back to January. You can see when we bottomed out, see that bottom candle in January, and we had 3 huge candles. I mean, we went from, what was that? What's the low of that one candle you're right there on, Justin? No, to the right, the right of the bottom. Yeah, that what's the bottom of that candle? That wick?
432. Oh, the bottom of
No.
the wick.
426, and we ripped up to what, 456? What's the high? Go 3 candles up? Yeah. 458, right? So what did we just say? 426 to 458. That's a 20 point move. We just went from our candle previous of this week, 415, 416. We ripped up to 445. We went 30 points. That's a 15% move, right?
Massive.
Am I doing that math right? 15%. 10% would be 10%. No. I'm sorry. 10% would be 40 points. I didn't do that right. We went.
I think SPY went 15 points last week. Is what you're thinking of?
No. It went from 415 all the way up to 445. Last week is that. If you look at the bottom of that green, yeah. Sorry, guys, 7.5%. I think I did that wrong. So look, is there going to be a pullback? It's very, very likely. What I would do personally is I'd be like, okay, that white line is the 8 EMA. I'd be like, where, if we saw some downside, where could we get to? That's what I'd be looking at. I'd be like, okay, we know that that's 432. Okay, right? And then I'd also go, I'm going to throw a fucking Fibonacci on this. I want to see what a 50% retracement, 50 to 61.8% retracement. That's definitely an area that like to come down. So if I was Justin, I'd be like, hey, go to the fib and hit that fib. Well, I wonder what it does, that auto fib for you from.
Looks good, actually.
Oh, that's the retracement down from there. Can you draw your own? You can draw your own, right?
Do you want to do it on? I forgot how I did this because I usually do it on TOS. Do you just want to take over the screen? Do it on your TOS?
Give me a sec. Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think I got it.
Oh yeah, it's over there on the left. No, you're right. So
okay.
Yeah, it's that one. You got it. So hit the bottom of this green candle. No, not that one. That one, yeah. And now bring it up. Yeah, you got it. 446.49. So now if we zoom in, we're gonna see. Yeah, there we go. The 50% is 429, right? So call it 430. Okay, what else I would say on this daily? What else is at 430 right now? What's that red line? The 20-day moving average. Okay, the 20-day moving average is at 429.25 or something like that. And the
See, it's at the 50% right here. Is what
It's
he's talking
literally
about.
right. So let's see. Right. So let's see. Let's see what happens this week. It would make sense that we definitely, maybe, in my opinion, have a little bit of a fake out breakout over that 200-day to catch some bulls off sides, right? So even like, let's say these futures hold overnight, which I believe we're about flat right now on the futures. We are flat. We're actually at 0. So we're even. But we opened up a tad bit green. And it jumped a little bit, like a few points I was watching. And it would make sense to me, if, especially if we base here. Like we would need to see some sort of a pullback, right? Spy loves his fibs. That's what Dylan says. Exactly. You typically, and I think Sherilyn knows this too. Typically, a 50% retrace is always in order. Usually.
Yeah, that is one thing I want to harp on. From a high, usually will retrace back 50%, or from a low, it will make a retracement 50% up.
Yeah.
So 50.
The 50 and the I think it's 61.8. I use that box like I use that range. Yeah, see, Sherlyn says, yep, I do. Yep, Cher knows. She knows about that 50%. I think she even like kind of affirmed that for me. Like I always kind of knew that, but she really harped on it for a long time when we would have these big extended days up and down. So definitely look for this 430, right? I would definitely look for the 430 as a downside support area. Okay, but what's the previous day's low on SPY? So the last candle, go to the bottom of the wick. Go to the bottom of it. Perfect. 435. Okay, so and if you look, that 435 area is also 2 days prior is a close, and it's also the body open of the previous candle. Right. So we know this 435, 436 area is going to be a level. Now, 435, 436 noted, right? Now go to the weekly and we see, I'm pretty sure, the 50-day moving average is where?
41.24.
No, sorry, not 50. Is that
the 20?
No, I'm sorry. The green one. What's that green one?
It's a 50. 441.24.
Is that 441? What's the 8? Okay, I'm looking at the 8 on the weekly. That's what I was looking at. It's 438.
Yeah,
right.
438 for the 8.
438, 435, 30, like 435, 436, 430. Okay, so we know we're not just going to go straight down to the 50%. Okay, so you need to know where these like actual minor supports can be. I call them bounce areas. It'll likely bounce off those areas because either a buyer or seller is going to defend that. Now, whether that holds or not, you need to watch the price action in front of you. Okay. You need to see what the overall market sentiment is. If everything is still in more of a bullish buyers, we could definitely see a dip to support and then a fucking huge bounce off it, right? So you never want to go, get too crazy on the downside or the upside, but just know your areas where there can be these bounces that will shake you out of positions. Okay. So I think personally, we definitely get a retrace. Do we get a rip to just above the 200 and then come down? Possibly. I would think it would kind of pull some people off sides on the bullish side and then drop us down sometime this week. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know what day it's going to happen. We just got to wait. But we know right now, right now being at 445-ish, 446, this is massive, massive, massive resistance. So hit the daily. Yeah, I mean, I would think something to note here too. The TTM squeeze of the Bollinger Bands Keltner channel at the bottom is still in a squeeze. So we still are consolidating. Now, we saw the histogram, the momentum did just shift to the upside. So let's see what happens. Okay. And this 50-day MA, is at 441 on the daily. So we know what 441, 438, 435, 430. Okay. That's what I'm thinking to the downside.
So you
Okay.
guys see how we did that? We went through, we started at the big time frame, went down to a smaller time frame, double checked the MAs, double checked the bodies of the candles, and made sure it all lines up. So as you can see, the bigger the time frame, as you work your way down, they will match up to certain supports and resistances.
Yep. Do you guys see where the 8 EMA is as well, right? The white line on Justin's chart. Do you see where it's touching the largest volume shelf, right? The volume shelf is that it's this green color bar that comes out, guys. That's the volume of shares traded at that level. If the candles are green, you're assuming what? Those are buyers that dominated that area. Would they likely defend that area? Very, 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 very likely. So where are we at here? We're in that cluster of, between 432 and what's that the candle right above it? Oh, I'm sorry, just not candle, the volume stick right above it. Yeah, that one is 438.
Yeah, 438.
Right, so what do we say? We said 441, 438, 435, 430. That would make the most sense for there to be a bounce in there, right? And then we know that 50% retracement is at 430, right? So it's just something to stay noteworthy of. Okay. So guys, from just looking at support and resistance, where we can go, you don't overcomplicate it, right? Do not overcomplicate it. To me, this was very simple to do. You don't get too much going. You just want to know, hey, what are my upside numbers? What are my downside numbers? And that's it. Leave it at that. Okay. Does anyone have any questions, or does Justin, do you have anything that you want to add?
One thing I want to add, like the 8 EMA, a lot of people use the 9, kind of the same thing. I use it as like a trend line, essentially. So if you want to look at the past, it pretty much rides in between it or very close to it. So right now, what's looking right here is looking a little overextended is what I would say, looking at, the history of this. So I would say we are due for a pullback.
Do you have the RSI on here? We just keep it really simple. You don't have it. You took it off.
Yeah.
Just the RSI. Yeah. I wonder, I could actually just look on my chart. I'll tell you what it looks like on the daily. I'm sure it's
probably,
it's still low actually. It's still actually, it's not even to 70 yet.
It's at 50.
Yeah. It's at 50. Mine says it's at oh wait, where'd it go? 56.67. Yep. Why 8 EMA versus SMA on time frames? So honestly, that's a preference of trader. Daryl asked a good question. He says, why the 8 EMA versus the SMA? So EMA is obviously exponential moving average. SMA is simple moving average. Me personally, I like using the simple moving averages on the higher time frames, meaning daily, weekly, monthly, even the 4 hours sometimes. On my smaller time frames, 1 hour and below, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15, 5. I like to use the EMA because exponential, it's better to see price action on smaller time frames. To me, I think it's more direct for intraday action of what you can see. That's how I use it. Some people solely just use the 821 EMA for every time frame. Some just use the 20, 50, 200 SMA for every time frame. Okay. Obviously, why not use them together if you know that the majority of people are watching both of those? Okay. So it's just good to have just both levels. You can personally make your own decision what you want to do. But
the EMA is a tighter moving average. It shows the moving average, I guess, more closely. That's why you see them closer to it, and it sticks to the EMA because it's showing the actual moving average in a shorter time frame. So I like to use the EMA more as like a trend setter. So I watch it to set trends, whereas the SMAs, I'm using those mostly for support and resistances to where it wants to go.
Yeah, like the long-term magnets of the swings that can happen, definitely those larger time frames, SMAs. The EMAs are definitely, like, I know a lot of people use I know a lot of people use the EMAs on especially the 8. They'll do the 8 for like the 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute for like definitely more day trading and like scalping entry positions. And the 8 into 21 are really good for like buy and sell entries. I know a lot of people in our especially in our community use it. They talk about the 8 just broke, or we just closed under the 21, which means you could have an inclination just depending on where the chart is to either buy enter puts or buy enter calls, or to actually take profits on one of the two. Okay. Good question though. Good question. Let's see. Let's you know what? I know we were really good about looking at earnings before. And I know Dan's on here. Maybe we can unmute Dan if he wants to give, but I know he's looking at Nike this week. I'll bet a pretty penny that he is. Dan, he's on here, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm on here.
Yeah, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. So yeah, I
Good.
am looking at Nike. I don't know which way to play it because this market's so up and down.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, realistically, I'm just going to be playing intraday, the charts, and banking on the IV. I'm not going to be holding anything overnight this week.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I definitely haven't been much of an. I don't think overnight's really the way to go. I think you make your money start fresh in the morning. It always seems that the price action it's so much better in the morning, and you can figure out that the overnight action helps you solidify different support and resistance levels, right? That's how we knew we were going to take calls, Friday morning. As far as Nike though, I know that they're not doing any orders in Russia or any countries tied to Russia. How much that hurts their bottom line, I don't know. Will they see it on this actual earnings report? Very likely not. I think one thing noteworthy is probably the supply chain constraints, if there are any for Nike, how those would factor in. Personally, the chart is telling me, if I'm just looking at the chart and they're like, what are you going to do this week? Like on Nike, like what would you do? I would probably go to that weekly and see the engulfing candle on the weekly and say, we should probably take calls at support. That would be my just playing the chart. How do you feel about that?
Dan,
Yeah.
who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm talking to Dan. I don't know if he probably muted himself again.
No.
Sometimes I like to just look at the chart outright and not try to be like, oh, did they beat last earnings? Did they not? Oh, he says I'm blocked. Did you mute him, Justin?
There we go.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying there, Chris.
Yeah, just looking at the chart solely, especially on that weekly. Justin, can you change this one to the weekly on stock charts here?
Yeah, it has a gap on the daily though down
here.
Ooh,
that's an engulfing candle, isn't it? If we zoom in a tad, that looks like an.
Yeah, let me zoom in.
Did that close above? Yeah, it did. Yeah. On increasing volume, which is good. So, I would think 151. I don't know if it could be that on earnings. This last spike right there though, off the 50-day. If you go back to January of last year. Yeah, this big ass spike. Was that previous earnings? What date was that? What went on? What happened there? June 21st. It was, I think that could have been an earning date. That's a boner candle. That is a boner candle. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
yep.
no,
March.
No, 321.
June 24th.
Was.
So they reported financials for so they reported June 24th.
Interesting. I don't know. They
yeah.
must have got.
So they
that's
June.
a weekly candle. Yeah, that's a weekly candle. You're right.
So this is
so
from earnings.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a big boner there. And we jumped off of right off the 50-day. So do we maybe get back to the 50-day? That's at 150. I'm sorry. The 50 days at 143. 50-day moving average is that, or no, I'm sorry, 152. Yeah. Sorry, 152. So maybe, maybe. And then the second one I'd be looking at for earnings would probably be NEO. I think it was Dylan said something about NEO. I mean, look at that boner candle. Good God. But definitely went back and touched that 8 EMA, right? So if we could get a close, I would think, Justin, go back to the weekly for a sec. A close above that the actual 8 EMA, which is at what?
2169.
2169. I think that could be a close over that could be a definite try to regain this white line, which I think is this the POC line that you have drawn here?
It is. It should be the POC.
Yeah, I think that is the POC.
What the fuck is this? I've never
notice
seen
that
this
volume.
before.
Well, yeah, you know that. I mean, before COVID, so you guys know this.
Oh, okay.
Before COVID, Neo was trading between like $2 and $4. Like my first Neo play was I remember first time I ever played Neo, I saw unusual options activity, and this was January 2020, and it was like $2 puts. I'm like, the fuck? And then these articles start coming out about possibly going bankrupt. Like, this is interesting. I'm like, what the hell is Neo? It was like, oh, it's a Chinese car company, Chinese electric vehicle company, right? And then all of a sudden, the motherfucker got squeezed up, and it became like a fucking COVID favorite. And I remember fucking Neo Twitter went fucking nuts. They were more annoying than fucking Tesla bulls. And this fucker ripped. I'm pretty sure it saved the company by giving them a bunch of equity. They just started opening up the battery swap stations like every single day. It seemed like they were opening up new ones all over fucking China. So I guess the company's grown a ton, but just put in the grand scheme of things, like they don't even like their yearly deliveries don't even match or make a like I think Tesla's quarterly deliveries are still 2-3x the yearly deliveries of Neo. So just from a size and production standpoint, something to note there. But this chart is telling me that if we get over that, if we get over the 8 EMA, I would definitely take calls, and I would probably be targeting that POC line where you see there's definitely resistance there. I don't know what that is. What is that level, Justin? That PO, just a white line. Because it's definitely, yeah, 26-ish. That would be, yeah. I think the IV on Neo could get slapped pretty hard too. You know, I don't know what it is right now. I could tell you. I know Dan will definitely be all over it. Let me see. Actually, you can go to the daily too on Neo for me, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like where the 20-day, I'm sorry, the 50-day moving average on Neo is. It's right there, 23.47. You know, it's also lines up where that POC line was, where it failed the 20-day moving average before. So it's all up in that same area, right? And it's a big volume shelf right there. So I would look for definitely possibly a break over that 8 EMA on the weekly. Look to get up a few more points. And these options are super cheap. So if you're playing this week's, I mean, the IV on them, you know what's crazy actually, Dan? The IV on these are already fucking huge from that move on Friday from last week. Like the IV's already 150%.
Yeah, and it will probably go another 100 points.
Really?
Yeah.
The percentage points, not the stock.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stock's gonna go to 120 next week. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good stuff, guys. If you're in, obviously you're all in our community. Dan runs the small accounts and the earnings lottos, really good at them. So make sure you check out those channels. You said Disney China closed due to COVID until further notice. Who said that? Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. That's interesting. Disney is definitely going to go down then. That's very interesting. Yeah, it's funny that they are making that a thing again. Interesting. That'll be interesting. Definitely probably play puts on Disney there, but if if the United States locations is staying open, if the United States staying open, I think we'll see a gap down or some selling, and it will bounce and it will catch all those people first and it'll squeeze back up. That's just my opinion. That's definitely a headline bomb that people chase and then they get clapped on it. But if the US, if we decide to pull some bullshit, which I don't think we would let that happen.
No.
Like, I think, honestly, I think we'd have like a fucking civil war against our government. Disney's giving a refund. Wait, market is ripping and war may be slowing. COVID about to fucking ripper Magoo. Yeah. Oh, what up, Bradley? I didn't know Bradley was on here. Good man, Bradley. Let's see. I think Bradley was calling for 4,500. He's been calling for a while now. Guys, remember that Google and Amazon are due to split within the next few months here. So we're definitely going to see buyers there too, right? We talked about this before. And if we see buyers on stocks like Amazon and Google, right, big tech names, those are decently weighted. They're definitely top 10 weighted stocks on the S&P 500, which is SPY, which we love to trade. So I don't see any reason for that not to help definitely prop us up 100%. I think we're technically still in a downtrend on SPY, in my opinion. Just on the higher time frames, we're still have higher lows. So until we break out of those, let's see what happens. Harley says the governor in Florida won't shut it down. Yeah, he won't. I think that's DeSantis, right? Yeah, he definitely won't shut it down, especially not a place like Florida. They didn't even shut down when COVID was at its height. Cool. Dan says Disney giving refunds to anyone impacted. Interesting. I mean, that's really it for this week, huh, Justin? That's really what we discussed. That's what we're looking at as far as the levels go.
Yeah.
So we had what to the upside was 450, 453. On SPY, downside we had 441, 438, 435, 440. I'm sorry, 435, 430, 430. Way down there. Did you have anything else, Justin?
I think that's it. And then we'll have our watch list in the morning.
Yeah, we'll have the watch list in the morning. We'll make sure all the admins have their levels for all their stocks. We'll get back to making sure we have multiple tickers with multiple levels, so you guys have a choice of what you want to play. And you don't actually need to call up because you'll know the levels to see, right? Exactly. Dan says you want to look at VC real quick. VZ Verizon.
Yeah.
I just bought a new phone, so probably should take some calls on them.
Wait, right? VZ, sorry.
Wow. What did we get news for them to dump like? Oh wait. Oh, this is a daily. Wow. Whole market's up. SPX was up what? 50? SPX was up 50 and Verizon's down almost 2%. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's a double bottom here. If you look back a little bit, this is a retest of the breakout.
Oh, so the old breakout retest, huh? Classic. Yeah, Justin, zoom out a tad and let's see. This definitely looks like you could just see these candles over here held this bottom. I definitely think that. I mean, it already bounced. I mean, you could see just on the daily when it got down to what the low was at 50 point something. It bounced up like $1, it seems like already. So interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, this definitely looks like a double bottom here, Dan. I would think if we get another test of Friday's lows, it will probably bounce off it. So you could play some calls there on that side. Good find. Good find. He says, Kyle BK says, let's look at NVIDIA.
Let's do it.
NVIDIA's at some pretty big resistance right there. You guys can obviously see where it closed. It had failed that level 1, 2, 3, 4 times prior to the left. So BK is right. If we break out of that level, I think we're definitely going to 280, 280-ish, right? 283. But if we don't, we could fail it. And if we did fail it, I think we come right back to the green line, which is what? The 50-day moving average, right? I would think that, what is that? The 50-day moving average is at 276. No, that's not right.
243,
243. Right. So that's 20 points down. to find some support, then rip higher. I like that trade. But you would need to make sure it holds, right? You want that level to hold. So ideally, if you know a level is hold, then if you know a level is going to hold, then it closes above a certain price level you have. Okay. It closes above that. If something dips underneath or above a level that you have and then quickly comes back down or bounces back up right after, that's a rejection, 100%. Right? Or a solidified of support. Okay. So if let's say you have a price target, I'm just making up a random stock, right? And you're like, okay, this is resistance at 100. Okay, but every resistance is also an area of a breakout too. So there's two trades that can be made. It's either puts off a resistance, okay, or you play the breakout. To me, this hasn't really been a breakout market. So just something to note. But let's say, right, the stock goes up and it breaks above 100, goes to 101. Okay, but in the next 15 minutes, it goes right back below 100. Okay, that is solidified resistance. That is a rejection. Okay, and then it bounces down. Let's say it goes back to like 98. Okay, that's what you have to like be cognizant of. Likewise, if you have a stock that's trading at 105 and 100 is support, and it goes down to 99, but then quickly gets back above 100 and goes like 101, 102, you know that actual support held. Okay, so you have to be patient too on the trades. You have to make sure that those levels are going to be holding for you. I think that's something important to note. For just trading in general, sometimes we wait all day to get into a position and we're just itching at the fucking fingers to just click your buttons, right? Because you're just like, if I'm sitting here watching all day, I should be in something, I should be doing something. When in reality, if you think back all the times that you rushed into something or all the times that you fucking FOMO'd, if you would have just been a little bit more patient, you would have got that perfect entry because it still did exactly what you wanted it to do and what you had planned for it to do. But if you're patient, you would have had a way better trade with less anxiety, right? That's one thing I did want to note to you guys. Justin, if you have anything, I think Trey says Google. I like Google with an L, me personally. It's the investor stock that has voting rights. So to me, I like playing Google. I had someone a long time ago tell me that you should always play, if you're going to play calls on Google, you want to play Google with an L, Googl. And if you're going to play puts, you play the one without the investor rights, which is the class C shares, I believe, which is GOOG. That's what I was told. Okay. The charts are almost identical. I think Google with the L is like, they're usually like 100 points off each other. Okay. But they're both going to be splitting. I mean, look at the massive support that they're on. Like Google 2,500 is just massive support right here. Okay. So let's see if we can rip higher. Okay. Let's see if we can rip higher. We're testing the 200-day. Yeah.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. Chart looks pretty similar to like SPY, right? Makes sense. Just besides that blurb of a, fucking 300-point move off of the earnings because they announced the split, but look, they fucking faded it right back down. But huge buy opportunity there too. For sure. Topher says ATVI puts. Boy, we haven't played that ticker in a while. ATVI puts. Let's take a look at ATVI.
Activision. Oh. Oh yeah.
What was that? What was that? Is that January? It's the daily.
That was the Microsoft purchase news.
Acquisition. Oh yeah, that's right. But they were purchasing it for like 95 a share or something like that, right? Like super high.
Yeah, it was 95 a share.
Is that why it's floating around up here? I wonder if this thing breaks. I would look for that MACD to come under that signal line. You see it's flirting right on top of it. This thing is squeezing though. I mean, it's just getting squeezed tight. So the move off this will be pretty epic. Is there any reason for Activision to be bullish besides the Microsoft news?
So I mean, they got games coming out.
Looks like they're at major resistance on a major volume shelf.
Yeah.
And look at the 200-day. You see how all those MAs are starting to come together right there.
I do.
I would wait to see what happens if this 20 can cross under the 50 or the 200, one of the two. What it's gonna have to break one day. Yeah, look at this chart. Hey, BK, are you thinking the upside or the downside here? Me personally, I know the Microsoft thing is good. I mean, would you call this even a bull flag? I don't even know what you would call this. It's a long ass flag. Like, look how small the range is on all the candles too. And like, even I look at it like this though, market ripped 300 points and this thing stayed in a range. So what's that mean? That's how I look at it. SPX up 300 and this thing couldn't get out of like a 1 to 2 point range. So I don't know. This is a tough one. You would think if there's a close below the green line, which is the 50, or a close below the yellow line, which is the 200, you would definitely close into the 8 EMA on the daily. Yep. Yeah, you would definitely want to probably play some puts there, but because you have those are still support for the time being. So wait until you get a close under all of them. And then is that a gap? Is that actually a gap to fill down on Activision? I know that I know the what's it called doesn't actually show.
Yeah, major gap.
Oh,
It's a big old gap.
shit.
That's a big old gap.
Holy shit. I mean, 68 would be my first price target. Actually, I would do 72, 68, and then 65. But this thing is flagging out, so it could easily, if the market does say high, like Bradley said, I mean, we just get buyers across the board, then we could. I don't know. I'm favoring the gap to the downside for the short term. But obviously being purchased by Microsoft is fucking huge. So this is definitely one. I think Topher, a good catch on the close underneath the 8 EMA. That's actually very crucial. Actually closed below the 21 EMA as well on the daily. So I would look to see where the 50 and the 200 are right now. If we can get a nice close under there, which is at about 78.40-ish, a close under there, I think definitely we're heading back to 76. I'm sorry, 72. 72, then I got 68, then I got 65 to the downside. Yep, good find, Topher. I like that. This could pay massive. I would go and probably look, give yourself some time on this one, like probably next week's the monthly, because this is a cheap, this is not an expensive stonky to play the puts on. I'd probably just go look at like the 75 puts for like April 14th, because they're only they're only fucking 27 cents. Good God. Oh no, 27 to 40. Like 35 cents. I would even go out to like May. The $75 puts are 72 cents. It's not bad. It's got a good amount of open interest on them too. This is definitely going on my watch list. Thank you, Topher. Cool. Anyone have any questions of like how we went about finding finding our levels on SPY, anything like that? I guess silence is good.
Yeah.
Dylan, do you have anything to say? Are you going to be in here this week, or are you still pretty busy? Nothing. He must have left. It's okay. We didn't like him anyway. Just kidding. Yeah, man, that's all I got. No one else has any questions? We'll definitely have some more levels as far as like watch lists out in the morning. I just want to see the overnight action with the market because things have been crazy. So that's it, man. That's all I got, Justin. You want to wrap it up with whatever you got, man?
That's it.
That's it.
I'm
That's
dropping
all she wrote.
dropping video number 2 of 30 tonight for our 30 for 30 educational video series. So be on the
Nice.
lookout for that.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, hop on the YouTube channel.
Rules of Wealth.
Tons. Yeah, the Wolves of Wealth. It's obviously the YouTube channel. In the Discord will take you right there. We have all the videos that Justin and I have done are all posted there, and as well as the podcast we are starting. Harley, I have a lot of questions, but I need to do more newbie studies first. Definitely start studying. Feel free, Harley, to always ask questions, in the community, in the options channel or whatever channel you're trying to trade in. Very helpful people in there. We put a lot of admins in place so we can make sure your questions are always getting answered in a timely fashion. Justin and I aren't always in outside of market hours, but we try to be. So yeah, man, ask away, ask as many questions as possible. A closed mouth does not get fed, right? So yeah, ask away. But if that's it, Justin, that's it from me. We'll let you guys get back to your evening. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you bright and early in the pre-market.
Yes, sir. See you.
Peace.
Peace.